My name is Siobhan Golden, and I'm the current intern with Mercy Global Action, the justice arm of Mercy International Association. Today I'm joined in conversation with Sister Libby Fernandez. Sister Libby is a religious sister of mercy and social worker living in Sacramento, California. She is the executive director and founder of the Mercy Peddlers, a ministry of cyclers who reach out to men and women experiencing homelessness on the streets. It is a ministry of presence and action based on the works of mercy and emphasizing welcoming the stranger. So thank you for joining me today. To begin, Sister Libby, would you like to tell us a bit more about the Mercy Peddlers and what influenced you to start up this ministry?
Oh, well, thank you, Siobhan. It's so wonderful to be welcomed by our Mercy Global and international works that we're all doing. I've been a Sister of Mercy for 31 years now. And my first 20 years, I worked at Loaves and Fishes, which is a large homeless encampment here in Sacramento, where we do 14 different programs for those who are homeless. I worked at Loaves and Fishes as the executive director, where we served 800 homeless people each day in 14 different programs. But after 20 years of working there, I wanted to do something different. But I had a lot of energy and focus on serving our most vulnerable here in Sacramento. So I went on retreat. That's one thing I love about being a Sister of Mercy, is that we go on silent retreats every year. And I was in the wilderness up at Crater Lake National Park, just praying and reflecting and asking God for direction. And it was like an aha moment. I thought I could do this new ministry of pedaling, bicycling, and doing outreach and connecting with homeless men and women on the streets of Sacramento. And so with a little bit of work, reflecting, putting things together, learning a lot about nonprofits from its grassroots, I came up with this idea of Mercy Peddlers. And our tag logo is bringing mercy to the streets. And I really wanted to emphasize the works of mercy that we do as sisters. And so even the logo itself has our mercy cross. And of course, you don't have to be a Catholic nor even a Christian to be a mercy peddler, but you will be part of bringing mercy to the streets of Sacramento.
Wow, that's honestly so incredible. And you've mentioned before on Friday when we spoke that there are over 5,000 people experiencing homelessness in Sacramento. So I'm curious to know, what are the main drivers of homelessness that you come across in your ministry?
We're a large city. We're the capital of California. So with our numbers, just the population itself brings a lot of homelessness. California itself is amazing. We have 20% of all the homeless people in the United States living in California. So California is a major home or place where people can be who are homeless to live on the streets of California. So Sacramento, we have 5,000 men and women who aren't even in shelters, but literally living on the streets. And when you look at the global social worldview, national, international, even citywide, what are some of the issues of homelessness? I think they're pretty much the same. Many have mental illness. I'd say 60% have mental illnesses. 50% have drug addictions, from meth to coke, crack cocaine, to all sorts of drug use and alcoholism. And then with that, so many are economically poor, right there on the edge of becoming homelessness. Many do drop off into that, where they really lose all resources, family, friends, income, to be able to pay for affordable housing. So it takes about 6 months to fall into that category of no more resources, no one can help me out anymore, I'm on the streets. And that's a major factor too.
They're intersecting factors, aren't they? And as you said, they are global and they're similar in almost every place where homelessness exists. So thank you for sharing those important points. And it's vital that we highlight the structural causes of homelessness and acknowledge that it's not an inevitable fate for people. And of course, these driving factors that you've mentioned have been further compounded by the COVID-19 pandemic. And I imagine there's been a new flow of people experiencing homelessness and at risk of homelessness as a result of this. What impact would you say the COVID-19 pandemic has had on homelessness in Sacramento and on your service delivery?
Oh, it's been major. I mean, we all have been affected so much by our COVID epidemic. When it first came out here, even in Sacramento, we were at a stay-at-home orders, and we took that very seriously. Stay at home unless you are a provider doing direct services, mainly to the hospitals, mainly to the grocery stores. Nothing about serving those who are homeless. So I didn't know what to do either. It's like, do I go out and continue doing outreach to those who are homeless on the streets? What is my role? And for the first month, I was afraid to go out. And many of my peddlers, I had over 100 volunteer Mercy peddlers out there. And even they were afraid to go out because we didn't know how safe it was, what were the causes, what was going on. And so I really felt bad for those who were on the streets because they didn't know what was going on either. It was really a phenomenon that it was an unknown situation where we didn't know what to do. But after a month, I talked to other providers, and there was an idea of collaborating together to try to reach those who are on the streets. And so I started going out and I started bringing out hand sanitizers, masks, and information to those who are homeless. Like, hey, do you know what's going on? We have to keep our distance and not breathe on each other. And it was a real learning factor for us, but also an educational factor where we can help people learn what to do and where to go and get resources. And then we saw a big thrust of Zooms going on and trying to collaborate all of the different nonprofits to reach some of the encampments that were popping up everywhere. Because with COVID, all of a sudden, you saw a lot of homeless people out there, and they weren't being asked to be moved on. There wasn't a lot of police, what we call law enforcement, telling them you can't be here, you can't be there. They actually got some real orders, county law saying that you can stay where you're at, stay in place where you're at too. So these encampments started forming up around Sacramento, homeless encampments with 5, 10, 6 tents, 20 tents, 30 tents. Now they're everywhere. It's really a big issue even today. We have encampments everywhere. So we're trying to collaborate with the city and the county of Sacramento to try to provide porta potties, wash stations, trash pickup, and food, necessary items. So now that we're getting to a point where many of us are vaccinated, we're going out more to the encampments. We're bringing out more food, and more of my peddlers have come back. So we're kind of like feeling like we can do our outreach, and there's such a great need out there because those who were 5,000 on the streets, you see them more now, and there's no place for them to go.
Absolutely. And thank you for highlighting all of that. The pandemic certainly posed significant challenges for a person living on the street, a person who may be at risk of being evicted, and then, of course, for people who are delivering services that are essential. So I really appreciate how you have adapted your ministry to the challenges of the pandemic. And I'm hoping that the stay-at-home orders have highlighted to government and policymakers the urgency to provide adequate and appropriate accommodation and supports for the most vulnerable. So I have one last question for you. If you had the opportunity to send a message to the United Nations regarding homelessness, what would it be?
It would be that each of us, each individual person has the ability to bring mercy to the streets. So when you can see one person who's poor, homeless, just in need, if you have that eye-to-eye contact and say, hello, how are you? What is your name? I'm Sister Libby. How can I help you today? And really give that sense of dignity, respect, that sense of mercy presence. I believe that is our world call, our United Nations call, that each of us can bring a little mercy to the streets.
It's such an important call. Thank you so much. And thank you for shining a light on the power of mercy and the power of Mercy's global presence. So on behalf of Mercy Global Action, I would like to thank you for the incredible work you are doing, bringing a sense of dignity and respect to people experiencing homelessness on the streets of Sacramento. We are very grateful to you for taking the time to speak with us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege to be part of you and your team. God bless.